Happening now in our nation's capital, FBI Director Kash Patel getting a grilling by lawmakers. This is the second day, this time in an effort to avoid the White House's more than $500 million proposed FBI cuts. Instead, Kash Patel is advocating for an increase in the budget. Patel says if the cuts are approved, it would force him to get rid of 1,300 positions from the agency. During testimony so far, Kash Patel had this to say when asked about what roles would be eliminated if funding is reduced.
Ma'am, at this time, we have not looked at who to cut. We are focusing our energies on how not to have them cut by coming in here and highlighting to you that we can't do the mission on those 2011 budget levels.
In addition to funding negotiations, Patel says he is reducing staffing at the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. He will be moving 1,000 agents to other states in an effort to fight crime. However, this doesn't come without concerns about how this might affect intelligence capabilities. Joining us now, Bobby Chacon, retired FBI special agent and attorney. Good morning to you, and thank you for being here. I think my mind immediately goes to the attempt on President Trump's life on the campaign trail and the failures that were highlighted within the FBI when that happened, and the immediate testimony about lack of funding and needing more staffing. How does the administration and Kash Patel, as now the director of the FBI, reconcile those concerns today?
Well, Marni, good morning. Thanks for having me. Well, first, as far as the attempt on president's life, the FBI doesn't protect the president. So the failures there could have been on the Secret Service side, and that would be looking at the Secret Service budget. The FBI is involved in investigating that crime. But what Kash Patel position he's in now is, for years he was such a harsh critic of the FBI, saying I would do this and I would do that if I was in charge. And now he finds himself not a critic, but on the inside and having to kind of run the agency and be successful. And so if it's true, as he said, that this budget would bring it back to the 2011 budgeting levels, I can't see any agency, any federal agency kind of surviving on that or being successful with that. I mean, costs increase every year, things like that. I do take issue with his statement to Congress yesterday that he hasn't looked at what positions are cut, because every year we would always be asked to, say, hey, what if doomsday prediction? What if we lose this many people? Who would you lose? And every person in the Bureau would have a list of people that would, or positions at least, that could be or possibly cut. So I'm sure they've looked at the positions that would have to be cut if this budget went through. But of course, as the head of the agency now, he's going to fight tooth and nail for every dollar because he wants to be successful. And that means resources.
And reallocating resources to other states, what does that look like logistically?
Well, that looks like pushing agents' positions from FBI headquarters. And this was done under Director Free in a very big way, back out to gang task forces in places like New York and Detroit and Chicago and LA, and putting people, more analysts, say, push them out of headquarters and put them back into the field intelligence groups, in different places that are looking at international and domestic terrorism, pushing agents back out into the field to work things like child sex crimes and gangs and cartels and things like that. So you never have enough agents actually to do that kind of work. And the FBI has the broadest work of all federal agencies. DEA focuses on drugs, ATF on guns. The FBI has almost every violation you can think of. And so there's always agent positions that are in need out in the field to work crimes and to get, criminals off the streets.
President Trump has made it one of his pillars, make America safe again. Is crime across the country as bad as the administration says it is?
Well, I think it is, and not from what the administration says, but just what I see on the local news every night. I mean, you see, not only these violent riots that are called protests, but you see, the cartels increasing, and you see, yesterday or this week we had a huge roundup of child sex criminals and stuff. So yeah, I think the crime is out there. I think we've had a very permissive environment from DAs, George Soros-inspired DAs across the country. So that permissive environment, that permissive criminal environment, fostered a great increase in crime that, some of which may not be reported on.
Yeah, and to fight crime, you need staff, and you need to pay the staff. So it comes down to funding. This will play out in Washington today. Bobby Chacon, thank you so much for your time on this.
Thank you, Marni.